I have some news for you regarding New Zealand. So this is an article from The Guardian, and it goes, New Zealand raises minimum wage and taxes on the rich. And so this article was published over a week ago, so these changes have already taken effect. New Zealand is raising its minimum wage to $20 an hour and increasing the top tax rate for the country's highest earners to 39%. The changes will be rolled out on Thursday. Alongside small increases to unemployment and sickness benefits, the government estimates the minimum wage increase, a rise of $1.14 per hour, will affect up to 175,500 workers and increase wages across the economy by $216 million. The new top tax rate will apply to anyone earning more than $180K a year, about 2% of New Zealanders. The government estimates it will bring in an additional $550 million in revenue this year. OECD data shows that New Zealand's previous minimum wage as of 2019 was already among the top 5 highest in the world. Over the course of the COVID pandemic, many of the country's essential workers have been minimum wage earners, including those who work at the airport and in border jobs and are considered frontline defense against the virus. Now, Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, actually took, I think it was like a 20% pay deduction to stand in solidarity with the people that, the unions that were coming together that wanted to fight for the increase in the minimum wage. And this is the part that I want to highlight. This is very important. Listen to this. Here we go now. Speaking about the changes this week, the Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, said they fulfilled a pre-election promise and represent real and long overdue improvements to the support we provide our most vulnerable. Do you hear what I just said? They fulfilled a pre-election promise, and they want to represent the most vulnerable. When have you ever? I mean, honestly, I can't. Now, look, I'm not that old. I'm fairly young. You can probably tell from watching this video, but I can't tell since I've been following politics since, any elected official here in America has been able to say something to the effect of that and have it actually be true and real and something that actually benefits the people instead of something along the lines of, I don't know, tax cuts for the rich or endless war or anything of the like. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not too well immersed in New Zealand's politics, okay? I'm no expert. They have their own problems, of course. Some people would point to, I guess, things like child poverty over there, and they have, housing situation going on where certain people can't afford housing or whatever. But, and none of that is to be scoffed at whatsoever, but they passed a bill to raise the minimum wage, something that Jacinda Ardern ran on, okay, during the election, and she fulfilled her promises here. Wow, what a time. What a time, man. Shout out to all New Zealanders, I guess. This is amazing development for them. But let's compare it to what we've seen most recently from our politicians. So they ran, Joe Biden and them, they ran on the public option. They didn't say it too much because, of course, they don't really believe on it. But they did say that he was going to do a public option. That turned into, okay, let's just subsidize Cobra. Okay. They ran on $2,000 checks. That quickly turned into $1,400 checks. They ran on $2,000 checks. As soon as we get in office, the checks go out. They didn't go out as soon as they got in office. As I just stated, they went down to $1,400, and there was a huge delay until they finally went out. They ran on a $15 minimum wage, kicked that to the curb immediately because of a parliamentarian whose opinion is completely advisory. They ran on a multitude of other things that aren't going to get implemented or probably aren't going to get implemented. Who knows what they'll do at this point. They ran on free community college. Free community college, point blank period. Free community college, like for 4 years, okay? I believe that's what it was. That went down to 2 years. He ran on free college for anybody making under, I believe it was like $125,000. Hasn't heard him bring that up again. I mean, the student debt crisis, I could go down the list with things that they claim to wanted to take care of. He ran on getting back into the Iran deal. We've seen the development with that. Iran's asking America to lift the sanctions first, and they're like, no, 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 you get back in the deal, and then we'll see how it goes, and then we might lift the sanctions. When we were the ones that pulled out of the deal in the first place, doesn't matter which administration it was under, that's a national embarrassment. Okay? So they're reneging on a lot, if not all of the promises that they made on their election cycle. But here goes New Zealand actually fulfilling its promises and doing right by its people, which is good to see for them, but I would say that's quite hard to come by in this country.